The Undercountry Music News is an excerpt of the weekly internet broadcast Undercountry Music, which features music from great country artists you won't hear on mainstream radio, as well as a roundup of the most interesting country music news of the week without all the fluff. To listen and subscribe to the full weekly episode, please visit undercountrymusic.com or simply subscribe to the Undercountry Music Podcast on iTunes. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Undercountry Music News. This is an excerpt of Undercountry Music. Actually, this week it's a little bit different because this week, episode 170, which is this portion of the news, usually would go with episode 170 of Undercountry Music. This time is no different, except that this segment didn't actually appear in episode 170. And I'll explain that. I did an interview with an awesome punk bluegrass band called Gallows Bound in episode 170 that I'd love to have you go check out, and I played music by them and everything. And I didn't get around to doing the news. I forgot to prepare the news because normally when I have a guest on, we go through the week in country music news, and I blew it. So here I'm sending you the country music news for the past week here, and I'm calling it 170, and we're just going to kind of say it's all part of episode 170. How about that? All right, for those of you who have no frickin' idea what we're talking about here, I'm Neil Smith, your wonderful show host. And right here on Undercountry Music News, each and every week, I bring you, the real country music news. I compile it from various country music news websites. I go on to each and every one. Well, here's what I do. I go on to Google. I type in country music news, and whatever websites show up on the very first page of Google, I go into each and every one of them. I dig past the fluff, the garbage, the human interest, and gossip BS stories, and I find the real country music news of the week, and I compile it all here and bring it to you. Just the essential stuff, the stuff that's actually news, because nobody cares about Kelly Pickler's new toe socks. They just don't. Okay? Oh, and if I go onto one of those websites and they claim to have country music news, and it turns out that they're just completely full of it, and they got nothing but Kelly Pickler toe sock stories, I award such terrible websites with the dreaded Undercountry Music News Wet Belch of the Week. And it sounds a little something like this. Let's see if I can muster up a good one here. I like it when they kind of linger and you know, it's kind of like a fade out belch. Anyway, let's get into it. We're going to first check in with CMT, Country Music Television, and they have reported some sad news. Legendary steel guitarist Buddy Emmons, who has played with just about everybody under the frickin' sun since the 50s, has died at the age of 78. He actually had a pedal steel business at one time and actually invented a lot of things for the pedal steel that that pedal steel players use every single day now. So if you play a pedal steel or have ever been utterly confused by one, a lot of your thanks can go to Mr. Buddy Emmons. Rest in peace. And also the Dixie Chicks. There's a group you don't hear in the news very often anymore. Well, they're currently gearing up for a European tour. And when Natalie Maines was asked on Twitter if they'll be coming to the States, Natalie hinted that it is in the works. Well, at least for her. She didn't actually say the Dixie Chicks, but said that she'll definitely be touring the States. It probably, knowing their political stances and the upcoming elections and everything for 2016, I got a good feeling that, well, Natalie, if not all the chicks, will be out performing, for the Democratic side to promote the political agenda, because they seem to really like their politics over there. Not that people on the right, there's a lot of country artists that wear their politics on their sleeve on the right too. So it's a big tent, isn't it? Anyway, if you like your concert sprinkled with greetings by MoveOn.org in the lobby and lefty politics e-spouted from the stage, this could be for you. I did go to see them shortly after the controversy, the quote-unquote controversy. And, well, the show was great. These things that I just said, even though you might think that I kind of espoused them off the left, no, I actually was greeted by a MoveOn.org table in the lobby. And then, I got to hear politics coming off the stage. And you know what? When I go to a concert, I don't really want to be hearing the politics. I don't really want to hear them on the right or the left. I'm going there and paying my money because, I want to check all that stuff at the door when I go in and just kind of enjoy a nice night of music with my fellow human beings. I don't really want, the things that divide us being shoved in my face when I'm there. So, that kind of ruins it for me. So you probably won't see me at the Dixie Chicks show for that reason. All right. Anyway, moving along to Taste of Country. Alabama is gearing up to release a new album called Southern Drawl, which will something I don't have, which will feature a duet with Alison Krauss. That's going to be good. All right, this will be their first collection of new music in over a decade. Almost a decade and a half, I think. I think it's been 14 years since Alabama put out some new music that wasn't just a regurgitation of their old hits or stuff. All right. Anyway, good. New music from Alabama. I hope it's got some upbeat stuff in it. Nash Country Weekly. Used to be Country Weekly. Now it's Nash Country Weekly. Merle Haggard's childhood home, a train boxcar that his father bought for $500. It's been moved from its location in Oildale, California, to its new home at the Kern County Museum, where it will be restored before being placed on display. And, a lot of spectators were on hand to see the boxcar, get moved. And Merle and his sister, went and greeted people and took a couple minutes at the mic and reflected on the times that they shared living in that boxcar. Wow. Can you imagine growing up in a boxcar? Anyway, in other news, Miranda Lambert is establishing a women's creator fund for ladies who wish to study the music business at the Mike Curb College of Entertainment and Music Business. It is being seeded with a donation of $40,000 courtesy of Ms. Lambert. Now, how far is $40,000 really going to get? I don't know. Hey, it beats a poke in the eye with a blunt stick, doesn't it? All right. Love it or shove it. Daron Norwood, the singer of the 90s hit, If It Wasn't For Her, I Wouldn't Have You. Well, he's been found dead in his home at the young age of 49. No further details are currently available, but foul play is not suspected. Rest in peace, Daron Norwood. And the Zac Brown Band, they have a new 7-episode series on the FYI network called Rusty's Rock Feast, featuring his head chef, Rusty, and also Zac's entire band, taking you behind the scenes of their famous pre-concert cookout that hosts 150 people before each and every show that they play. It's become the stuff of legends. Now, you can also check out the 30-second trailer for Colt Ford's new song, Cut 'Em All, which features Willie Robertson of Duck Dynasty. Watch that at Nash Country Weekly. Man, they got a dang smorgasbord over there this week. Nicely done. No burp for you. I'm like the burp Nazi. No burp for you. All right. TheBoot.com. I found absolutely nothing interesting at all over at the boot this week. So burp for you. Let's see. Let's get a good one here. Mom, hold your ears. Here it comes. My mom doesn't like the burp. I leaned into the edge of my desk for that one. All right, Country Standard Time. Little Big Town, after canceling several weeks of shows in July, have had to cancel 3 more weeks of concerts in August after extending singer Jimmy Westbrook's post-surgery vocal rest time. Residual burping there. Okay. Anyway, Jimmy had started losing his voice after shows, kind of like I'm doing right now. And upon a medical examination, it was determined that vocal cord surgery was needed. Their next scheduled show is August 22nd with Leonard Skinner in Canada. And let's hope they make it. You know, because all those people with the flapping heads and the A, Canadians don't really say A, and they don't really have flapping heads like on South Park. I'm kind of disappointed by that because that would make... wouldn't you love to go take a trip to Canada, see a bunch of flapping heads and people saying eh? But they do have beer that's been brewed with ether, and that alone is worth the trip. All right, now here's a nugget I haven't seen on any other news outlet. Clint Black has signed a new recording deal with the Nashville label 30 Tigers and is expected to release a new album this fall. This will be his first release in 10 years. Black is back. And Maddie and Tay, they're going to kick off a 1-month headlining tour October 7th in New York City. New York City! And we'll end it in Chicago. What is up with the cosmopolitan areas? Holy moly. Anyway, they'll be playing listening rooms and historic clubs, a little smaller, more intimate gatherings. I mean, Maddie and Tay, they can't fill up stadiums and stuff, at least not yet. So, but this will be, if you'd like to see Maddie and Tay in a little more intimate of a setting and have it, instead of them being an opening act, having them be the headline act, I mean, that adds a lot. It means they're, they don't have the time constraints as you do when you have an opening act. They can kind of let their hair down and you really, really see what they're all about. Then I would recommend going and checking them out on this tour. If you have the opportunity. Right, gonna end it up here with Rolling Stone Country. This thing is almost always a total the cyber version of a birdcage liner, and this week is no different. Burp for you, Rolling Stone Country. And this will conclude this week's episode of Under Country Music, episode 170. Thanks for hanging out with me. I am your lovely and belchy show host, coming to you from high atop my internet podcasting broadcasting tower overlooking beautiful Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Be sure to check out undercountrymusic.com and listen and subscribe to the podcast. Gallows Bound. We've got a full hour with an awesome band called Gallows Bound over there. You really should check it out. We talk about, poopery, flesh hooks, and all kinds of other wonderful things. Oh, and busking, too. Anyway, undercountrymusic.com. Stay under, stay country.